The Toronto Raptors have won 3 straight. Absolutely like the stream for a Raptors W. The Toronto Raptors are rolling. RJ Barrett is back. Jakob Poeltl is still seeing a back specialist. CMB could be on the mend as early as Sunday against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the Thunder, by the way, just lost to the Indiana Pacers today. Shout outs to Pascal Siakam and shout outs to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are absolutely decimated by injuries right now. Missing AJ Mitchell, also missing J Dub, missing Isaiah Hartenstein, if I believe, tonight as well. So the Toronto Raptors are on a climb, right? Uh, they are in a climb right now. They are pining for the top of the Eastern Conference. They were walked into today 1.5 games behind Boston, and you almost got a favor, almost, from the Brooklyn Nets, who were right there. And unfortunately, in double OT, the Boston Celtics do close it out without Derek White. So a lot going around the NBA today, and a lot that pertains to the Raptors. Namely, there are some teams behind you that had some big games today. The Phoenix Suns against the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks are not exactly behind you, but they are a team that could potentially, catch up some ground against the Raptors. Right now in the Eastern Conference, between 2 and 9 is pretty close, right? But you have a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, you have a team like the Atlanta Hawks that are slowly fading into obscurity. And the Atlanta Hawks had lost a lot of games straight. The Bucks had not been really playing their best basketball today. The Bucks go up against the Denver Nuggets without Jamal Murray, without Christian Brown, without Cam Johnson, without Nikola Jokic, without Peyton Watson, and they were without everybody. It was basically Aaron Gordon and a bunch of scrubs. And somehow, despite a late game run, the Bucks end up losing it to the Denver Nuggets. So the Bucks fall even further behind. Giannis becomes even more increasingly likely to demand a trade. And so it kind of comes down to the Toronto Raptors. They were the last game of the night. Raptors go up against Portland. Once again, another team missing an all-star. Denny Avdia is out. There was some confusion about it earlier in the game. Thiago Splitter had said yesterday, because the Blazers did play yesterday, that Avdia would play. Unfortunately for the Blazers, who are the hottest team in the NBA right now, Denny Avdia does not play. And to those who don't watch Blazer games, I watch a lot of Blazer games. Denny Avdia is a very good basketball player. He's one of the best basketball players in the NBA. He's going to be an all-star this year. And missing him basically robs this team of any offensive creation. They don't have it. They don't have a single player who can create their own shot consistently. And so you saw a little bit of that in the first quarter with the Toronto Raptors, where I don't think the Raptors played great defense. I just think the Portland Trailblazers missed shots. It was like 0 for 9, 0 for 10 to start the game from 3. I think they started 2 for 20 from the field. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. MKLP82 saying Avdia has one of the best contracts too. Yeah, 4 years, $50 million is one of the best contracts ever. Relative to value, he is playing like a max player by far. He would be a shoo-in the East, a shoo-in in the West. He is a guaranteed all-star. He is not the reason that the Blazers are a bad team, but the Blazers aren't really that bad a team. I think a lot of people probably look at this team, they look at Damian Lillard out, and they're like, they're probably a bad team. They're 23-23 after losing to the Raptors. They walked into this game with a plus 500 record. Also worth noting, and Jack Armstrong brought it up on the broadcast, the Toronto Raptors now have a plus 500 record against teams above 500. That is a good sign for a team that is looking to maybe add something at the trade deadline, like a Domantas Sabonis or Goga Batadze or Day'Ron Sharpe or somebody else. We broke it all down in terms of the center targets for the Raptors earlier today. If you haven't checked out that live, I would seriously suggest it. We did a lot of, deep diving, and give me a W in the chat if you did check that out. We did a lot of deep diving into the Raptors center prospects. Tonight, the Raptors didn't have a center, so that meant Scottie Barnes had to start a center. And he had himself quite a weird game. The shot wasn't falling. It's been happening for a while now. Shot's not falling. But despite the fact that the three-point shot hasn't been falling, the mid-range shot's been falling, the paint shots have been falling, the late-game scoring's been happening. He's one of the most efficient fourth-quarter players in the league. And it just so happens to be averaging 24 points per game for the last 7 games going into this game. But now you get RJ Barrett back. And you're like, okay, that's probably going to tilt the pecking order a little bit. He was also complaining to Kayla Gray at the end of the last game that his legs are hurting. Now he's also holding his left hand, to start this game, and you're like, Scottie Barnes probably gonna have a really tough game offensively. And up until three quarters, he did. And the Blazers weren't exactly in this game, but they weren't exactly out of it. And you can take a look here. The Raptors shoot 53% from the field. The Blazers just could not catch up after that abysmal 12 points in the first quarter. That's the least number of points they've scored in any first quarter this year. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's the least number of points that the Raptors have held any team. And again, you might be seduced into thinking the Raptors just played great defense in the first quarter. They did not. They left shooters open. The shooters just missed. Shaden Sharp was open on a lot of shots. He missed those shots. Okay. So it's just really, really bad game to watch overall. The Raptors shoot 31% from three, bested by the Portland Trailblazers shooting 13 for 45. They shot 29% from three. The Raptors got to the line more. They out rebounded the Blazers, which is incredible because they start the former UConn Husky and 7'2" mountain of a man, Donovan Clingan, who, by the way, got the work tonight. Scottie outplayed him, significantly outplayed him, dunked on him too, blocked him once too. I mean, it's just a really nutty game. The Raptors had a lot of turnovers. It was a very sloppy game, very disorganized overall, but the Raptors win the points in the paint battle. Obviously, the Blazers settled for a lot of threes. And I will tell you, as somebody who watched a lot of Arizona games last year because of Carter Bryant, Caleb Love is not an NBA player, my humble opinion. I know Carter might find that offensive, but honestly, man, like Caleb Love sucks. He might become a good player at some point. Caleb Love, Hanson Yang, these are not NBA players. Unfortunately for the Blazers, they are a weird roster just like the Raptors. They're missing tonight Denny Avdia. They're also missing Robert Williams. These are two of their better players. These are two of the really good basketball players on their team. And if those two players had played, I would almost guarantee you, I'd bet $1 million that the Blazers were going to win this game if those two players had played. But those two players didn't play. And who played instead is, frankly, a lot of players who just don't belong in the NBA. A lot of players who are not very good basketball players. One of those players that I was very high on pre-draft, so high that I had him 13th on my board like a crazy person, is Rayon Rupert. He went 0 for 5 tonight. He sucked. He was negative 14. Hanson Yang, in 7 fucking minutes, went negative 13. You want to, FBI, launch a conspiracy. This was a tank game. Now, I don't understand why the hell this team tanks. Like, I don't understand it. But you can look at certain players on this team that are just better than the players they play. And I don't understand ever playing Hanson Yang in an NBA game. He's really bad. Chidzo saying Caleb Love isn't bad. We will disagree. Caleb Love shoots worse than 40% from the field. Caleb Love has never seen a shot that he does not want to take. Caleb Love isn't a good defender. I'm sorry. Caleb Love ain't a good player. Okay. He might become a good player. This might be a Keontae George situation where he just blossoms late, but he's also a lot older than Keontae was coming out of Baylor. So I just don't see it at this point. City Sissoko. City Sissoko sucks. But, I'm not even trying to be rude about it, but like he got into this thing with Scottie Barnes. And, if you're going to talk so much shit, you better not go 0 for 4 from 3 and score 3 points in 33 minutes and be negative 8 from the floor. You know what I mean? Donovan Clingan, he was really weird tonight. I'm a big Donovan Clingan guy. I'm a huge fan of his from his days at UConn. I really love that team with him and Steph Castle. And to see him, just missing bunnies after bunnies at the rim, it was really weird. He did eventually turn it around, ends up the game with 13 points and 16 rebounds. They were a much better team with him on the court. And quite frankly, he is, a really difficult guy to box out. He ended up with 8 offensive rebounds, 8 defensive rebounds, just a nutty, game where they just couldn't keep him off the glass. And that makes sense. He is about 300 pounds and he is 7'2". You don't have the size to contest with that with Mamu and Scottie. And quite frankly, I think Scottie had his hands full guarding the paint because the Raptors didn't do the greatest job of getting guys out of the paint. But, I think the Blazers just, quite frankly, had a really bad game plan coming into this game. The Toronto Raptors get 20 points from Brandon Ingram on a very efficient 7 for 15. He goes 1 for 5 from 3. Scottie goes 0 for 2 from 3. RJ goes 0 for 5 from 3. So those 3 combined go 1 for 12 from 3. You take those guys out and the Raptors were fine. Grady Dick is starting to make threes. Grady Dick had, another positive game, 10 points tonight. I think he really hustled hard. He had a couple plays that didn't go his way, but I really liked Grady's game tonight. Ochai Agbaji got out in transition, really porous defense at times, but from them, I think he was really good. Jonathan Mobo was basically unplayable. Hurts my heart to say it. He's made some very very bad decisions in the open court. Just not good tonight. Emmanuel quickly was solid for the most part. He was solid. Same thing. I could say the same thing. I mean, you could literally, I could record myself talking about every single Emmanuel quickly game, and it would pretty much hold true. The only difference is some nights he hits shots, some nights he doesn't hit shots, and some nights when he hits shots, you ignore the things that he doesn't do well. Okay. So, for the most part, does he set guys up? I think he did a better job than most times this season of setting guys up tonight. I think he found some, good shots in the transition. He made some good decisions. He didn't over dribble the basketball, but there were a lot of plays, where you're just like, there comes the zone. The Blazers are a really good zone defense. When Denny Avdija is playing, they're exceptionally good zone defense. This is a team with a lot of positive defenders: Drew Holiday, Tamani Kamara, Donovan Clingan, City Sissoko. Jeremy Grant's an okay defender. He ends up with 8 points off the bench, right? Rayon Rupert is an okay defender as well. Like, they have a lot of good defenders. And Denny Avdija is not necessarily a good defender this year, but he is still a 6'8", 6'9", very intelligent player who knows how to be in the right place at the right time. Tamani Kamara has taken quite a step back defensively, but tonight he was hitting shots, and he's been hitting shots pretty much all season. He hits 4 for 8 from 3. The Raptors lost him constantly. It's almost like they don't remember that he can shoot now. Donovan Clingan hit that 1-3 above the break. Drew Holiday was hitting threes. He had 21 points. Shaden Sharp, he missed a ton of threes, but he ends up with 21 points on a rather inefficient night. I think the Raptors did a pretty good job on Shaden Sharp. Again, RJ Barrett does return on a minutes restriction. He plays 21 minutes. He ends up with 10 points. And Scottie Barnes, stat pads, like stat pads, heavy late. Okay. Because Scottie had, I'm willing to say, like 6 points entering the fourth quarter. And then he just goes on a tear in the fourth quarter. And, the Raptors win this game by 12 points, and they won that fourth quarter by 10. So, to the people who are like, oh, Scottie Barnes, 6 for 15. He was 15 plus, whatever. Fuck that, man. He won this game for you. He came in the fourth quarter, and when they were starting to pull up momentum in the third quarter, he ended it. Okay. Now it takes a village to win a basketball game sometimes, and Sandro Mamukelashvili was awesome today. Back-to-back 20-point games for the first time in his career. He is going to be very expensive to re-sign. I'm telling you, man. Like, a big who is not a liability defensively, who can play 3 positions in the front court, who stretches the court and hits threes, who's diligent and intelligent off the ball, can get shots in a multitude of ways, is actually a pretty good transition player. This is not a cheap basketball player to get back. And honestly, I'm really hoping that he does the Raptors a solid and just signs on a very team-friendly deal, because I don't even want to think where the Raptors would be without him this year. He's been one of their 5 to 6 best players this season, and it's not close. I can make a very solid argument that he's been more important to the Raptors than RJ Barrett. I can make a case he's been more important than Emmanuel Quickly. I can make a case he's been more important than Ochai Agbaji, Jamal Shed. I can make a case he's been more important than just about anyone not named Scottie Barnes and Brandon Ingram this year, and he's just very important. Like, he's a really good player and, lovely guy, just from everything you see him in interviews, really humble, so you really do feel like you're rooting for this guy. This is a 54th overall pick who has grinded his ass through, G League stints and, minimum contracts. And now he's on this massive prove-him deal, and he is proving it. He is proving it in a major way. So I would do everything in my power to get him back. He is invaluable for this team. He is great with Scottie. Scottie found him constantly. IQ found him constantly. It was really good to see. In terms of RJ Barrett, like what looked right and what looked wrong, honestly, I'm not going to judge it. You know what I mean? Like, the 3, going over 5 from 3, he couldn't make a shot, but he didn't miss a single shot that wasn't a 3. So maybe that's something. He crashed the offensive glass at the end of the second half, or at the end of the first half, on that Scottie miss. He ends up getting to the glass and, getting a putback. The motor was right. The intention was right. He didn't force the issue too much. He gets up 9 shots in 21 minutes. Maybe that's a little overkill, but honestly, that was largely because Emmanuel quickly just kept finding him for 3. It'd be like set, swing, swing, swing. And then Emmanuel quickly gets the ball, drives into the paint, and then he has 2, 3 options, and boom, it's RJ Barrett. So hopefully RJ can catch a rhythm here. The Raptors will need him to be attacking downhill against the OKC Thunder. You're not going to beat the OKC Thunder without RJ Barrett playing well. And quite frankly, without RJ Barrett hitting some threes. Overall, as I said, from the team stats perspective, the Raptors led for the vast majority of this game. This game was over before it started. This game was over in the first quarter. And yes, there was a very brief period of time where they made it really competitive. At the end of the third quarter, and I say, like, Scottie was sleepwalking through this game, absolutely sleepwalking through this game. But you look at this game flow, and that end of the third quarter, where it became 72-71, and the Blazers actually did briefly lead. They led 73-72, and then the Raptors go 74-73, 76-73, and that's all she wrote. Like, there we are. That's the fourth quarter, and it's over. And it's like, you might say, okay, Scottie he stat padded a couple of blocks late, couple of assists late, whatever, one steal late. But I'm going to take it the other way. I'm going to take it as my star player plays harder than everybody defensively, plays until the final buzzer. And even in a 10-point game, he's willing to get up and block shots and play his ass off defensively, even when he's super tired. I will remind you, hold on. Did Philadelphia play today? Let me just check something for a second here. Philadelphia play yesterday? Philadelphia did not. They did. Fuck. Scottie Barnes is number 2 in the league in minutes played. Number 2. Uh-oh. Giannis out 4 to 6 weeks. Oh, damn. And they made a comeback without him? Did they make the comeback without him? Because like, the Bucks were down huge. And they ended up, like, closing the gap. But I thought Giannis was on the court. Like, wasn't Giannis on the court? Like, I checked in around 6 minutes into the fourth quarter. He was there, wasn't he? Hmm. Bucks game was good. Rollins was hooping. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I mean, look, like, you can look at this different ways. Like, maybe Scottie was, like, a little upset that they weren't willing to run out the clock. That's definitely one way to look at it. Let's take a look at some select highlights from this game. It's not going to be an extensive film breakdown by any means, but I said the Raptors have been pretty bad, but thankfully the Blazers have been worse. So again, sometimes Emmanuel Quickley's decision making does leave a lot to be desired. This is an example of that. Now, I believe right here that you need to trust Scottie with the pitch ahead. You're clearly doubled. You're off balance. Just throw this ahead and let him beat Jeremy Grant one-on-one at the rim. The defender isn't back. Allow him to get that advantage and then maybe even kick it back to you. Instead, you kill the advantage and you decide to reinitiate the offense. And now we are in our half-court offense. This screen from Mobo, kind of a weird roll, just not sure what he's doing, but he makes up for it last second by pushing Donovan Clingan out of the way and allowing RJ Barrett a bucket at the rim. So, hey, man, all's well that ends well. I said Grady Dick is cooking. And Grady, shout outs to Grady, one of a few Raptors tonight who had a highlight play against Hanson Yang. I hope they broadcast this in Beijing and Guangdong and Wuhan and everywhere in China. Grady Dick gets a nice reverse layup. Look at that. Beautiful. Hanson Yang, not an NBA player. I'll just be real with you. He's not an NBA player. I hope he becomes one. It'd be really great to have a really good Chinese basketball player in the NBA. But for the growth of the game in and of itself, he seems like a really nice guy. But, man, he is slow. He is slow to process. He is slow to move. He is slow to everything. There was a lot of talk about him being Jokic, and I honestly puke in my mouth every time I hear that. That is ridiculous. Just stupid. Grady Dick hitting threes. He hit 2 threes. These were back-to-back plays. So shout-outs to Grady. Really doing a great job here. Here to end the half, Scottie Barnes with this little, this looks great. This looks beautiful. There's so much clean separation on this shot. Unfortunately for Scottie, just maybe dead legs, maybe an injury, maybe just a tough shooting night. Just didn't have it tonight. His finishing just wasn't there. The jump shot just was a little bit flat. But here, RJ Barrett not quitting on the play gets the Raptors a nice lead going into the halftime. And unfortunately, as these things sometime go, uh, okay, this play is insane. Okay, this is the second half. Now the Raptors did leak a little bit of oil to start to start the third quarter, and clearly by the end of the third quarter they had all but surrendered the lead, but not it was not for a lack of trying. Look at this beautiful play by Scottie Barnes. Honestly, this might be the defensive play of the year for Scottie. That is a 7'2", pretty good player, actually, Donovan Clingan. I would love for Donovan Clingan to be our starting center. Scottie, with this is some Neo bullshit, bro. This is some Matrix. I learned how to bend bullets with my mind shit. This is crazy. Insane. Like, how do you just change your mind midair? Like, this is what the fuck? Just takes it away. Like, what is this play? Like, I don't even understand it. The physics of it like had me like flipping my head around. I was just like, what are we doing here? Speaking of, maybe not the greatest Emmanuel Quickly plays, yo, we got to keep it consistent. We got to call Emmanuel Quickly out sometimes, for some of these bullshit plays. This is a pretty bullshit play, okay? Tamani Kamara may have taken a step back defensively, but he can still stop your ass 10 times out of 10, okay? Here, just walls up, gives up his dribble, picks up his dribble, of course, and then just loses it. One steamboat, two steamboat. Y'all did that as kids? Man, come on. Fuck. Anyways, for the most part, decent game from Manny Quickly, though. No real complaints, but once in a while, he does these things. Here, good job by Brandon Ingram contesting here. Hanson Yang Donovan Clingan barely gets the offensive rebound, but ends up in the hands of Quickly. Here, Quickly is going to run in transition. Now, I was praying for the love of God that Emmanuel Quickly is going to make this pass to Grady Dick. I see the defense shifting, and I'm like, is he going to make this pass? And you know what? Da-da-na-na, da-na-na. Wait, let's just see. Let's see if he makes a pass. Da-na-na-na, da-na-na, da-na-na-na. Oh, you made it. It's perfect. Beautiful. Oh, man. That made me so happy. That was one of my favorite plays of the night, period. Like, that was awesome. Just clearly. That was not the play of the night, but that was one of my favorite plays of the night. Just absolutely amazing. This is one of my favorite plays of the night. This game had quite a few highlights. This game had a nice little highlight package. This is one of my favorite ones. City Sudoku is just pissing me straight the hell off today. So seeing him get stuffed by Brandon Ingram, little shout out to Brandon Ingram. There's a defensive stat called defensive win shares on Basketball Reference. Scottie Barnes is number 3, but you won't believe that Brandon Ingram is number 19 in the NBA. Helps to block some shots. BI is blocking as many shots per game as Bam Adebayo, a stat that feels absurd when you think about it because that has never happened before. That's crazy. Here we go. Ochai Agbaji ripping it away. And what's that thing about the basketball gods? Do the right thing. Do the right thing. I think Spike Lee said, do the right thing. God will reward you if you do the right thing. Here, Ochai Agbaji does the right thing 2 times. Number 1, gets the rebound, fights for it. Love it. Number 2, passes it ahead, trusting your teammates. You love to see it. I'm almost in tears. And number 3, continues to run and look at that little point up. Hey, I'm going to beat my man. And look at Grady, trusting his teammate to go up and boom, there goes the elevator. These two are probably not going to be both Toronto Raptors in a couple weeks, but man, it's been nice while we've had them. I said, imagine driving 10 hours to and from Vancouver to watch this shit. Honestly, this was a very bad sequence. I apologize. This was a point where the Raptors were only up 2 points to end the third quarter. This was a very low scoring game. So you can understand, to anyone who says Scottie stat padded in the fourth quarter in a blowout win, this was not a blowout win when he started his dominance or run of dominance here. And here comes Emmanuel quickly, once again, getting stripped. Oh boy. And that's just a play that happens. It's fine. Tamani Kamara to end the half. Can't make it. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Nice. Yes. We are 28-19. That record feels a little unreal. And we also have 420 people up in here. Should you light a spliff? Someone should light a spliff. Okay. I said, this is the way, Scottie. Okay, this is the dominance. Okay, once again, it's a 4-point game when this play happens. So don't tell me that Scottie was not needed. This was very needed. Here, Donovan Clingan, one of the best shot blockers in the NBA, one of the best paint protectors. Look at that defense. You are significantly undersized. The defense has swarmed in on you. And look at this. Just dunk it on Donovan Clingan, baby. Scottie said, yo, my legs might be tired, but I got one dunk in me tonight. I would not be surprised if right now, and then this is not me reporting. I didn't hear this from Brian. I didn't hear this from Scottie. I didn't hear this from anybody. I would not be surprised if Scottie has severe tendonitis right now. Just based on how he's moving when the cameras are not on him, I'm just noticing it. He went through this in his second year for a sizable bit as well, and he just moves differently when he has tendonitis. So I would not be surprised if he's just not right now physically. But you know what? One quarter every game, he just turns it on. Last game, it was the 13th quarter. This game, it's the fourth quarter, and he just did I say 13th? I'm in third quarter. Okay, now off this rebound, Scottie Barnes pushing in transition. Now again, you may ask yourself, if you can do it now, why not do it all the time? We are 8 minutes left in this game. This is a 3-point game. 3-point game. Okay? And here, Scottie Barnes beats Tamani Kamara, beats Drew Holiday, beats everybody. Boom. Sorry, beats Jeremy Grant, beats Tamani Kamara off the live dribble. Here takes Donovan Clingan at the rim and decides, you know what? I'm going to be Magic Johnson tonight. Beautiful pass to Sandra Mamu-Kelishvili, who needs no prompting to be a connective passer. RJ Barrett fakes the three, takes the three. Scottie Barnes boxes out Donovan Clingan, gets the ball away from Jeremy Grant, steals it away. And now he says, you know what? My dad and I used to watch 80s Lakers highlights. And there was a player that I really liked, and that was Magic Johnson. But there's another player that was pretty damn good, and his name was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I wonder what Kareem would do in this exact situation. I think he would take Donovan Clingan. I think he would take one dribble, turn, hit him over, and then just flip, pirouette, and turn around over him. Bro, can you name me one player who could have done everything that Scottie did in that 20-second sequence? I would love to know who that player is. And don't say prime LeBron, because I already know that. Sheesh. I said Brandon Ingram is the epitome of unselfish. Now, off of a Emmanuel quickly miss, by the way, Ochai Baji gets the much-needed offensive rebound, wisely hands it to Brandon Ingram. Ingram gets past Jeremy Grant on this play and then hands it back to Emmanuel quickly and says, I got you. I trust you on this. Clearly he did. I said the Raptors have won 3 in a row. Okay. Scottie had 3 blocks, I believe, coming into the fourth quarter. Here's number 4. This is impressive. This is Shaedon Sharpe, dude. Block with the right hand. Here goes Jamal Shed, who had a very quiet night, by the way. He's getting ripped all night by the broadcast. I don't think he played bad, but I don't think he played well. Here, Scottie, once again, off the live dribble. He's going to beat the first defender, which is Drew Holiday, and then he takes the second defender, who is Tamani Kamara. And note the ability to stop and not run over Tamani Kamara here. Finds Sandra Mamu-Kelishvili for his 22nd point of the night. Boom goes the dynamite. I said Scottie Barnes, defensive player of the year, man. How many times did he have to show tonight that he was the best defender on the court? Now, Tamani Kamara made an all-defensive team last year, and Scottie's a lot better than Tamani Kamara defensively. Okay, watch this. Again, off the live dribble, that's Shaedon Sharpe. You are ripping a guard on the move. The hand-eye coordination to do this is pretty insane. Pretty insane. And the Raptors have 2 guys. who can do this, by the way, between him and CMB. Some scary times ahead for the league when these two fully figure it out and mature. Okay. That's crazy. Now, this it's kind of funny. How can this be my favorite play of the night? Well, part of it is because of who did it and to who. Part of it is I'm not really a big Caleb Love guy, and I can't say I'm a really big Hanson Yang guy. So, and I'm really not a big fan of trying to run up the score when there's 9 seconds to go in a blowout game that's out of reach. I'm kind of the mindset that you should just dribble it out at this point. Now, Hanson Yang, he's a rookie. He don't know shit. Okay, Caleb Love, he's a rookie. These guys don't know shit. They're thinking, I want buckets. And so Hanson Yang's like, you know what? I'm 7'3". This guy's 6'8", 6'9". I got this. I got this. And Scottie said, no, you don't got this. You go back to China. You go back to the CBA. You try this shit. You were defensive player of the year in CBA. You're not defensive player of the year here, bro. 6'9", blocking 7'3". Like, get the fuck out of here. And then here Caleb Love's like, bro, I got you. I'm going to dunk it on Scottie Barnes. The fuck you are? Nope. You can get out too. Fuck out of here, bro. Okay. All in all, fun game. Really fun game. Fun game. Again, you could dismiss this and you could say, well, you know, whatever. It's the Blazers. They don't have their star player. You play who's in front of you. Any person who has ever played any team sport, whether it be rugby, soccer, basketball, whatever, you know that you can lose to anybody. Case in point, the worst team or the second worst team in the NBA just beat the best team in the NBA tonight. Okay. The Raptors could have lost this game. Could have lost their composure. They did not play well in the first half. Scottie did not play well through two and a half quarters of this game. I think Emmanuel quickly had a rough go at it. The offense felt discombobulated. There was a lot of messiness overall, right? It just felt like, push and pull. Guys didn't know where to be. Guys were cutting into each other's space. Shots felt random. Offense felt random. Defense felt a little step slow sometimes. Guys were, almost like recommunicating. Darko looked frustrated. RJ looked frustrated. Everything kind of just was very like on a normal night. Again, we all know the numbers and what the numbers say. The Raptors are a better team with RJ Barrett. Their offense flows much better with RJ Barrett. Tonight, it didn't really. This was one of the worst offensive outputs I've seen from this team all year, barring, Sandro Mamukelashvili's heroic shot making and Grady, giving you a nice pop off the bench. Nobody really shone tonight. Emmanuel quickly making some shots as well helps. But overall, my point is, on a night where you don't have it, right? You don't have the juice. You don't have the focus. It's a late game. It's the end of a road trip. These are trap games. These are trap games. In a lot of ways, these are trap games. You've been on the wrong time. You've been on the wrong side of the world for the longest time now. You miss your family. If you're Scottie, you miss your kid. Your wife is, your girlfriend's pregnant right now. You're probably thinking, like, I want to go home. I want to go home, man. Portland is a cool city, but like, I want to go home. And these road trips can get long. They're usually good time to bond as well. There's obviously some other stuff going on with the Raptors right now, which is the trade rumors. We addressed them earlier, but the Domantas Sabonis stuff, the Anthony Davis stuff, this stuff is really picking up steam. It's January 24th. We are 12 days away from the NBA trade deadline, which means in 2 weeks from now, one of these guys is getting traded, whether that be Ochai Agbaji or whether that be like 3 of these guys are getting traded. Someone's getting traded off this team. It's the price of success. Unfortunately, you kind of told on yourself here. And if you're Scottie Barnes, someone who has historically not responded well to losing close friends off the team, he didn't really respond well to losing OG. He didn't really respond well to losing Pascal. He didn't really respond well to losing Precious and Koloko and guys that he was close with. And there's always like a hangover period with him when, he loses a close teammate. I'm really hoping for his sake that he ends up earning a teammate this time. Like, I'm really hoping for his sake that they end up trading for Day'Ron Sharpe or someone like that. You read my mind. Colosso reading my mind here. So, but all things considered, the Raptors are good, man. The Raptors are a good basketball team. I'm sick and tired of PC trying to troll me and telling me like, "Oh, Penn, we can't talk about the Raptors." Fuck that noise. No, we need to talk about the Raptors. This is one of the top 8 teams in the NBA. They have not been healthy. They deserve a lot of credit for what they have done this year. They deserve a lot of credit for what they've done this year. They have fought hard. They play generally try to play for each other. They play good basketball. And more nights than not, they outplay the opponent, right? Now, again, sometimes you have a talent advantage over a team. And, what happened earlier against the Brooklyn Nets earlier this season where they played better, we won the game. It does happen. Sometimes you play worse, they just miss shots. That happens, right? But I think for the most part, the Raptors have played very hard. I think for the most part, they've played together. I think for the most part, RJ Barrett and Brandon Ingram and Emmanuel Quigley are trying to do what the coach is asking them to do. I think for the most part, guys like Sandro Mamu, who has had like more ups than downs this season, but even through his downs, he's still trying to get on the glass. He's totally outmatched playing at starting power forward or starting center, but he's trying. He's played backup center. He's trying. He's slid into the starting lineup playing with a different group of guys. He's trying, right? Even guys who've had struggles like Grady Dick. You can never really question Grady Dick's effort this year, can you? Really? Like you can definitely question the efficacy at times. You can question the shot making. You can question it. I think when he made that nice little reverse scoop against Hanson Yang, Jack brought up the fact that he had made 14 of his last 15 attempts in the paint. That's good. That's really good. Grady getting stronger, right? So, like, it's kind of weird, but you never know when when the light bulb clicks for a player. There's a lot of players where there's signs, there's glimpses, but there's no aha moment. I remember watching Jermaine O'Neal, and there was a clear aha moment at some point. It was like four years into his career, and it was just like the light bulb, clicked on. There's players like I'm willing to say there's quite a few players in the NBA that I think teams probably would have given up on them, Grady style, and something just clicked. Something just clicked with them. Norman Powell is the guy that was kind of given up on by a lot of people around the NBA. And, he was just a rotation guy. Now he's going to be an all-star. Right. So I'm really hoping that Grady stays, although I'm not going to cry if he leaves. And I really hope that it works because his skill set is unique for a guy who's 6'8". His ability to handle the ball in transition, his ability to, generally read the floor pretty well. And now his ability to finish. If he can ever figure out the jump shot, he's going to be a really, really good. And he's working hard defensively. He's never going to be a gifted defender. He's not going to be a great shot blocker, a great, his hip mobility is not going to be great. But man, he is, he's busting his ass every night, right? MJ said, I'm eyeing Peyton Watson, he's someone who I would free up space for this offseason. Yeah, you and every other team. Unfortunately, Peyton Watson is restricted free agent, and I think the Denver Nuggets will sign him. They will be able to match most offers for him. Okay. Ezra Michael said, pizza party, Giannis for RJ and Yak plus. Giannis, one of the worst jump shooters in the NBA this year. Just want to bring that up there. Obviously, if all it took was RJ and Jakob Poeltl, you'd be stupid not to do this deal. But I'm just bringing it up. It's not exactly like we have the greatest roster for him. But thank you for the members chat here. Sparkling Harmony said the Raptors are now the 3 seed. Absolutely, the Raptors are the 3 seed. Ivan Kari said, Ron said we were going to get our clocks cleaned. Well, PC also took the under 19.5 points on Scottie Barnes today. So 1 for 2 ain't so bad. And thank you so much for the 279 super chat. You didn't add a text to this, but I appreciate that very much. And I'm just going to throw your text here. I didn't realize I had to type out what I wanted it to say before I bought the chat. Yeah, you do. if you wanna write something here now, I'll happily address it. They can't if you throw RJ's money for him. Huh? Hidden Jaden, please stop spamming. We understand he is, our pick for DPOY. Shout outs to Sandra Mamakilashvili at the end of the game saying, okay, well, Scotty's my DPOY. But yes, if you say DPOY one more time, you're going to get banned. So please don't do that. I think it's just it's not very nice to be repetitive in the chat. That's the nicest way I can say that to you. Jack Johnson said Blazers needed 100 points for free McDonald's. 100 points. Oh, that's hilarious. They're still doing 100 points in today's NBA. They're giving out free McDonald's every single game. Also, shout out to Scottie Barnes for protecting the Portland fan base from clogged arteries and disgusting pseudo food. Okay. Because if those fans, there was like 18,000 fans, had gotten free McDonald's, presumably they would have gone to McDonald's and not ordered a salad. So, Scottie Barnes blocking these two guys is really blocking you. He's blocking your next heart attack. That's how I'm seeing it. Okay. So he is a man of the people. That's a man of the people. Okay. Fuck your churros, fuck your, fries and your hamburgers and all that shit. No, man. Scotty is sending your ass straight to Vegan Hut or whatever the hell the alternative, shit is for. Get on a treadmill. Fuck McDonald's, man. Get on a treadmill. Exactly. Scottie Barnes is saving the American people from themselves. Mo Ep said 2 All-Stars? Yes, 2 All-Stars. Absolutely. Scotty said no Big Mac for you. Absolutely. Go to Subway. Listen, I want to say this. I want to say this for a long time. If you think Subway sandwiches are healthy, power to you. They are not healthy either. Colosso saying Scotty promoting healthy eating. That's my franchise player. Absolutely. If you want to eat fresh, learn how to make food. I typed out my question up. It's a bit now. Where is your question? Sorry. Where's your question? Did you type it earlier? Or do you want to? Oh, here we go. So I'm wondering why we put IQ on ball to initiate possessions when Scottie, Brandon, RJ, and Shed are better at imitating offense, and IQ is better off ball, and we all know it. I don't get it. Okay. So presumably there has to be some thought process here that this is something that Emmanuel quickly can get better at. This has to be one part of the thought process. The second part of the thought process is among the players who can realistically initiate offense for you, Emmanuel quickly he's the only player who can stretch the defense out to about 28 feet comfortably. Whereas you may say Scottie is a better decision maker and Brandon Ingram might be a better decision maker. Neither of them are necessarily better ball handlers and they are not better shooters. And so the point of where your offense starts is a little bit higher when lower when Ingram or Scottie are initiating. Now, again, if you're going to play with a spacing big, I think this goes away a little bit. If you played with a dominant screen setting spacing big like a Karl-Anthony Towns, I think it could be okay. I think that could be okay. Brandon Ingram and, something like that. Today, in fact, if you're being honest with yourself, Scottie initiated a ton of possessions today as the point. In fact, even a couple of possessions where Shed and IQ set screens for him. This can happen. You can absolutely invert the screen and it can be good. You need someone to create space in that action, right? Scottie is not LeBron James, so he's not going to get skinny and then beat his guy off a live dribble 28 feet from the basket. We've seen him do it occasionally, but he usually needs a head of steam. RJ Barrett's similar. He doesn't exactly have he doesn't have that controlled handle, right? He has an effective handle but it's not a handle that's necessarily going to allow you to get downhill without an advantage. RJ Barrett is best attacking tilted defenses, right? Scottie Barnes is best attacking tilted defenses. Ingram is best attacking defenses with less space. So it's really, you don't have the player that Quickly is supposed to be, and you don't have a guy who can do what he does. With Shed, again, the same problem happens. He's not a good shooter. So if you had even something close to Peyton Pritchard on your team, like a guy who can get downhill, shoot the three, and he has deep range, and he's a decent passer. Like if you and he has a great handle, even if you had a TJ McConnell, well, I don't know about TJ McConnell because he's not a really good shooter. If you had a Tyrese Halliburton, if you had a Trey Young, if you had a LaMelo Ball, if you had one of these players, I think Quickly would be more comfortable playing off the ball. I think the fact that you don't have one of these players, you're just maybe hyper focused on the idea that, okay, well, Quickly is a worse passer than Scottie, and so Scottie should be the player that initiates offense. But it's not that simple. This isn't high school basketball. You do need to be able to force coverages higher to create space behind the action. So a simple case on this would be, how do teams cover a Scottie Barnes pick and roll? They always go under. Always, always, always. And that is going to negate some of the advantages of the roller. And if that roller doesn't have the freedom to pop, it becomes a very undynamic action to cover. Whereas with Quickly, even if he's not going to make the right decision as often as Scottie is, the decisions the decisions that are available to Quickly will be larger, if that makes sense, right? So I don't know. If I hope that answers your question, and I hope that adds something to your understanding of the question you asked. Not Donald Fagan gifted 5 Pensare Basketball memberships. Shout outs to you for doing that. I appreciate you very, very much. To anyone who doesn't know, Pensare Basketball memberships grants you access to our Sunday live show. It's a lot less of a cluttered show. And to those people who maybe like to call in without so much of an audience and with no trolls, those are the most peaceful chats. I'm gonna be honest. Shout outs to our members. Those are the most peaceful chats. There has never been a spammer in our members' chats ever, in our members' streams. Those streams are good. And as I get through Pendance, and again, I took another bite out of my mortgage today. Nauseating feeling, very scary feeling. I don't know. It's weird. But once I get through Pendance, and Pendance is coming up February 27th to March 1st in Toronto downtown at the Carlton Cinema. Once we get through Pendance, and I'm just gearing up 100% full force with Pensare Basketball. But hopefully around Pendance time, when Pendance ends, I will also be through my mortgage. And at that point, those members' lives are going to be really, really good. In fact, after the season, those members' lives are also going to include prospect breakdowns. So, yes, we have Angel calling in. Angel, what's up?
What up, bro? You good?
I'm good. What's up?
Hey, man. Just wanted to chop it up. It's been a while. I called in
Sure.
like, I don't know, it's been a couple months probably, but I always tune in here and there.
Okay. What'd you think of the game?
I didn't get a chance to watch it all, but I caught like the second half. Man, I can't lie. Quickly, he's been kind of doing decent recently. He's been getting to the rim a little bit more than I thought he'd been
Mhm.
doing all season. Maybe since those trade rumors came up, he trying to bring up his value or something, but he been doing all right. I thought Mamu, I still say to this day, the first conversation I had with you, I told you he's going to end up taking uh, Mogbo's minutes. And yeah, that didn't take long at all. And I think he's the best contract on the team. Like, value wise, it's ridiculous. He's playing too good. We're going to have to pay his ass.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. He's got a player option on that second year, unfortunately.
So, what do
Man,
you
if
do?
we
You
if
think
we could if we could
are we
build a
supposed to
time
keep him?
machine and go back and sign him to a 3-year, $15 million deal, that would be great.
So,
Uh,
you think there's no chance we could keep him?
it's hard. It's hard with our cap situation. It's going to be really, really hard to keep him, and I think he's worth almost the full mid level, if not the full mid level. So he's probably worth around 8 million on the open market. There aren't a lot of teams with the financial flexibility to get him, but like I think he's a solid addition for most teams. Teams are always looking for defensive bigs who are smart and good connective passers. Like he might invite an offer north of 10. I can see it.
Yeah, I feel like he can be an impactful player for any team with what he brings. So I don't know if there's any chance we could keep him. I think he just goes to show like he's been playing better defense. The more minutes he's gotten to, he's getting more comfortable out there shooting. He's shown that he's more than just a stretch big. He gets to the basket. He's actually like low key springy. He always makes the right decision every time he has the ball in his hands, whether it's passing or taking it. I love
Mhm.
the team, to be honest, and it'll hurt to see him go for real.
Absolutely. Yeah. Any final thoughts, man?
Man, all these trade talks
Mhm.
is crazy. To be honest, how I feel is unless we get anything worth it, I feel like we're really trying. Well, all the real options out there and any like blockbuster big deal are names of players that I feel like it's kind of a reach at this point. They're
Yeah.
all not the best situations, not the greatest contracts, injuries, low points in their careers. I get the buy low thing, but
I don't know if you had a chance to check out my last live, but what do you think of Dayron Sharp and Goga Batase?
I love Daron Sharp and Goga. I feel like he's super under the radar. But who gets paid more? What's the contracts?
Goga is north of 8. Dayron is Goga is at 8, but his contract is declining. I think so. He's 8.5, 7.5, like that, and Dayron is at 6.2.
What, Daron gets paid less?
Yeah.
See, I feel like at this point we're playing way better than expected.
Mm-hmm.
At least to most people, I thought we would be a 4 to 6 this season. But
And hey, man, I got a prophetic video on this channel saying the Raptors will be a 50-win team, and I'm very happy I made that video.
man, if it wasn't for the injuries, and it's still possible, we were
It's
on our way to like 60, damn near.
Yes. When we were rolling, we were on pace for 58 wins, so 50 feels pretty safe. And that sounds pretty crazy to say.
For real. What did
Um,
it start with in the season? They were telling us like 35 games or something.
37 and a half. 37 and a half was a Vegas over under.
The disrespect. I think
Yeah,
it's not like
but in fairness, they moved it up to 39 and a half by the season start because I guess they liked what they saw in preseason or something, or maybe some other teams look bad. I will also tell you the Boston Celtics were 40 and a half. So,
that's
you
crazy.
know, the
I mean,
two
they've done way better than I thought they would. I can't lie.
Cleveland was 64 and a half.
No way.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
I
that's that.
mean, those are
That's
preseason expectations. You know, very few teams have lived up to their preseason billing. I think Denver is one of the teams that has lived up, and OKC has, for the most part, lived up. But I mean, it's interesting. Those two teams have been super injured. The
crazy.
Pistons
That's
were, I
so true.
think, because the Pistons lost Malik Beasley, they were at 41 and a half. They're going to clear that. Like, they might clear that by like close to the All-Star break. So, yeah, the Pistons have been great. The Raptors have been great. The Knicks have been a little disappointing.
Yeah,
The Cleveland Cavaliers and Orlando Magic have been super disappointing. The Atlanta Hawks and the Milwaukee Bucks have been insanely disappointing. But other than that, people said this East was watered down for a reason, and I think teams like Toronto and um, Boston and Detroit are really capitalizing on it by being they're being the few teams that just haven't self imploded. You know what I mean? So yeah. Anyways, Angel man, thanks for calling in. Appreciate you.
for sure, bro. You have a good one.
Good one. Have a good one. Jan, what's up, man?
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh my god, please, man. Please don't do this shit again.
I can hear you.
How the hell? What's going on? What the fuck?
Okay, every time, Jan. All right. I understand there's probably a lot of anxiety calling in and stuff. Try to figure this stuff out before we call in. Um, I'm actually feeling your anxiety. I reject your anxiety right now. We trying to have a vibe, bro. Okay, try again. What's up? No. Damn. Damn, Jan. Apologize, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you couldn't make it on, but I wish you a very, very good night. You definitely trying your best for sure. Absolutely. Uh, Tough saying Giannis will miss 4 to 6 weeks. Absolutely. So at this point, Giannis, AD, they're probably out. He probably can't hear you. Yeah. Jan, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Sorry, man. I'm trying to make this work. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's always the exact same thing when he says when he calls in. Yeah, it is something that has happened multiple times. To anyone who's watching this the first time, you probably think I'm an absolute asshole. But yeah, this has happened like 3, 4 times. So or 2, 3 times. So unfortunately, hey man. I actually got a message from StreamYard today, which is the app that we use to, or the app website that we use to host these things. And it said, we have noticed that you are a business. So your monthly subscription is going from $25 a month to $299 a month. At which point I said, we ain't gonna be with StreamYard anymore. That's crazy. So I'm gonna email them and be like, yo, man, I'm one person. What are you telling me I'm a business for? I'm a one man mom and pop store. What are we doing here? I don't got $299 a month to pay for this shit. That's crazy. So if it ain't StreamYard, we're gonna go somewhere else. Uh in fact, one time at Bandcamp, no, one time I ended up doing a stream with Jordan and he uses something else, right? And then also Brooke saying, I'm sorry, bro, shit keeps not working. Yeah, definitely. Tyler later saying, Pen, are you gonna do a WNBA mock draft? I might. I don't think I know enough to do it. Use Discord, Pen. Discord for streaming? Does Discord stream to YouTube? Why is what do people think the next big trade is? Haven't had one since Trey. Hannah, are you going to stream the Tempo expansion draft? I might stream my reaction to it. I mean, I'm very excited. I'm very excited that Toronto's going to have a WNBA team. I thought everyone used OBS to stream. Discord calls and use OBS to stream it for YouTube. Is this free? Andrew Raptor saying, Rob, I'm surprised you don't have a Discord server. How old do you think I am? I am actually old at heart, which is to say that when I was 6 years old, or 6 or 7 years old, I used to get along with like 25 and 30-year-olds, and that's always been my way. Unfortunately, I am not a very technologically savvy person. For a filmmaker who has cameras and gear and lights and stuff, I'm not a very technologically savvy person. And especially when it pertains to software, which is kind of embarrassing given my dad that my dad was a software engineer. I am ridiculously bad at stuff like this. So, and I guess saying over and over that I am bad with technology probably doesn't make me better with technology. And there's probably a learning curve that I can probably get with. Yeah. Yes. Penn is young with an old soul. I am very young with an old soul. Yeah. Actually, I don't think it's fair to say I'm very young. I just feel like I'm lying at this point. I'm not very young. I'm just young with an old soul. Anyways, the Toronto Raptors win. I'm excited. I'm excited to face the Thunder on Sunday. I hope the Raptors get healthy soon. CMB would be very, very vital against the Thunder. And I do think the Raptors can beat the Thunder. I know this sounds crazy to say, but they won't be favored, and obviously the Thunder will be coming out with for blood. But I think the Raptors can beat the Thunder. You do have to shoot. you do have to shoot well to beat that team. You're not just going to be able to throw the ball into Brandon Ingram and Scottie Barnes and then expect them to cook up because they have the defenders to shut that down really quickly. And I don't think the Raptors have necessarily the greatest matchup for Shea, but that's why I want CMB to play. Because if CMB and Scottie are playing, I think Shea can have a really, really rough night. But obviously, Shea being a Canada man, being a Hamilton guy, he's obviously going to have a little bit of extra juice to face the Canadian team. And I get this very nasty feeling that he's going to put up like 45 points on us. But hey, man, CMB, from what we heard reports today, he is getting closer and closer to a return. So shout outs to Colin Murray Boyles. Hopefully he is back for Sunday. And yo, man, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited for the Raptors, one of the best defenses in the NBA, to face the best defense in the NBA. And let's just see what it looks like. The Thunder just have not looked the same. They started the season out 24-1. They just have not looked the same since J-Dub came back. Obviously, they're a very deep team, but they are already without Thomas Sober. They are already without Nikola Topic. They are without a lot of players. The Raptors will probably have a chance to watch Brandon Carlson. He did play tonight. He has been playing reasonably well for them. I think they're a better team when Jalen Williams plays, like Jay Will. And I think they're a better team when AJ Mitchell plays. I don't think the Raptors have a good matchup for AJ Mitchell. I don't think the Raptors have a good matchup for Shea. But yeah, like the Thunder have this tendency once in a while to sort of implode. Their shooters just go cold. Lou Dort can't make a shot. So, it'll be very interesting to see how the Raptors do against that team. But they have a lot of weapons to throw at you. They are, no disrespect to Darko Rajakovic, they will be the better coach team on most nights. Mark Daignault is phenomenal. So the Raptors have to, they have to approach this game with some seriousness and obviously some excitement as well. And I'm really happy that they were able to get out of Portland without having to go to triple OT. That was good. They didn't really have to work too hard tonight. Scottie Barnes got to take a backseat a little bit offensively. So hopefully the Raptors are able to save up some juice, get on a plane, and Sunday's going to be a big one. I'm very excited for that game. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. And by the way, if we get blown up by 35, nothing changes. I'm not like upset about it, but it would be nice to see a competitive, grinded out game. It would be nice to see if the Thunder are a little bit healthier too. I would like to see them a little bit more at full strength. Games like that can be a nice little litmus test for you. And obviously, if you go out there and you get blown up by 35, maybe Bobby Webster has to look at this team and just say, okay, well, we're able to beat Portland on a back-to-back without Denny Avdia. We're able to beat the Sixers without Embiid. But hey, man, when we run into healthy teams or relatively good teams, we get clamped. And again, there's a lot of people out there who are probably looking at the Raptors record right now and saying fake wins, fake wins, fake wins. And believe me, it's really hard to ignore that chatter when you go into OKC and then you get clapped by 40. So, this is a real pride game from the Raptors where you can just say, yeah, we'rae gotten lucky a little bit, but we're a legit team and we're here to play, So I'll talk to y'all later. Have a beautiful, beautiful night and go Raps, go, man. 3 straight wins. Let's make it 4 straight. Peace.